All right, welcome in the MyBookie.ag pregame show. Alabama, Clemson getting ready to go in the Elite Eight. You see Lance Taylor is back with us. He's there in the middle. Jim Dunaway is in L.A., where, Lance, you're in better weather than Dunaway. I don't know. This is kind of a weird reversal.
It
in
really
Birmingham,
is.
you got much better weather.
Yeah, hard to believe. You know, the day I moved out to LA was February 1st. I left Birmingham in a freeze in 1996, and I got to LA, and it was 88 degrees in February. and now I'm sitting here. I mean, this is LA weather. I mean, end of March, it's 75 degrees in Birmingham. It's beautiful. There's a ton of people out, ton of Alabama gear. I don't know if that's I guess that's normal, but it really stands out today because of this game.
Yep.
Yeah. Meanwhile, here, Brownie, it's what is the beginning of what they call a Pineapple Express, but I didn't know what that was, where there's basically a stream of moisture that's going to come in from the Hawaiian Islands. High today, 58. And right now, luckily for the show, we have a dry band we're in between bands of heavy rain. And we were coming back from Hollywood last night, where I went to eat with the broadcast team again, and because they're very superstitious. And we're coming back, and they've got flashing signs on the interstate that says storm warnings this weekend. Storm every 3 miles, storm warnings this weekend. And I was thinking to myself, like, what kind of storms? And it's just rain. And LT, you know more about this, but apparently out here they don't get enough rain that when they're going to have at some point this morning they had 2 inches. They're going to have 5 more inches, and apparently that causes massive flooding or something.
Yeah, well, I was only out there 8 months, and it rained one day.
Yeah.
Wow.
So counting Pasadena, LT, we've been out here. This is my 4th day here, and in Pasadena we were 5 days, and it's rained 5 of the 9 days I've been in California this year. Yeah.
Speaking of Pasadena, I was thinking about this today, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. And that was obviously, in retrospect, you look back in Nick Saban's final game, that was massive. Final game. It just feels like this is a bigger day in Alabama athletics than the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I would say that, Brownie, that and y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Now, the other night, our friends Jimmy and AB, who are here, they decided on Wednesday to come to the basketball game. The Alabama the season ticket holders, there were 1,000 tickets allotted to Alabama, 1,000. Jimmy and AB did a head count. They think 300 Alabama fans were here. There'll be a little bit more today, but it's Easter weekend, right? Flip, though, to Phoenix. If Alabama wins today, every Alabama person I talked to in the administration, and including our friends AB and Jimmy, believe that it'll be a football-like road trip. If Alabama's in Phoenix, it'll be like, tens of thousands of Alabama fans that will go to Phoenix. But that this is being, first of all, I don't know how many people thought this team would be here, but the fact that it's the Easter weekend, it's just become tough for some people to get here. And then I do think there's a little bit of a surprise with this team.
Well, it's going to be real quick, bro. It's going to be a massive ticket if Illinois wins, NC State wins, and it doesn't matter, Purdue or Tennessee, they are going to travel. So I agree, man. If Alabama, that is going to be a crazy, crazy ticket price-wise.
Yeah, if I'm an Alabama or Clemson fan, I'm thrilled that I am in this situation, but I'm going to hold my money for Phoenix. I'm just going to gamble that, you got to think through this. If I go to the expense of flying to LA and take the time, Easter weekend and all of that, and watch my team lose, I'm going to regret it. If I sit at home and watch them win, I'll spend that money and go to Phoenix. I'm not going to regret that. I'm going to a Final Four. So I think that's probably what most fans would do.
Well, there is one guy I'm about to eat lunch with here outside the arena who came from Steamboat. He and his son were there on their spring break. And instead of flying back to Birmingham for Easter weekend, they got the okay to come here for the game today. We're not here Thursday. And they're going to fly out right after the game, make Easter church in the morning. But he can't make Phoenix. He says he's got business this week. And he's like, and if it's UConn anyway, I don't want to see us get our butts kicked. So I want to go out on top, them cutting down the nets here, and then he'll watch the Final Four on television. So you have people doing it a lot of different ways, for sure.
Jay Mose asked where you are, LT. Do you mind disclosing your location there?
I am at Avondale Brewery, our buddy Michael Sellers venue here. I'll show you a little.
Yeah.
Chili, and Dunaway, you'll especially love this. Chili and Bullet are here with me, but Maddie got an Alabama Crimson Tide for Christmas.
Oh wow!
First time she's worn it, so it's all in on the Tide today.
I would like to. I'd like her to send a picture of her in the sporting the Alabama gear. Please.
I will walk over when I'm wrapping up, and I'll let them say, hey, you guys, because I know you want to see Bullet and Chili.
Yeah, loving to see Bullet and Chili. Yes, I miss them. I would tell you that I've lost the bracket challenge.
No,
I have.
Don't do this.
It.
No, do not do this. Do not do this. If
Brown,
UConn loses, Jim, don't do this.
If
UConn loses.
Yeah, if UConn loses, Dunaway. I don't know if you've watched Terrence Shannon Jr., but that guy is the best player in the tournament. I'm including Dalton Connect.
UConn's not losing. So, I mean, they're the best team in the country. I'm going to lose the bracket challenge. I sent out a video about an hour ago. They've got our friends from Coca-Cola have a 3-point shot and some shots going on behind us here. They let me be first in line. I jumped out there, put up a few shots, hit my second one there. I just got to find 5 D1 schools in a 24-hour period to go ahead and knock this thing out.
Nope.
LT, I was thinking about extending my stay here and just trying to knock out like Pepperdine, UCLA, USC, UC Santa Barbara, and a couple of these out here maybe.
Well, you would think it would be easier out there, but with the traffic, I mean.
Good point. Good point. And I don't want to go to California's prison.
I know our boy Ush was pulling hard for Creighton last night. And, that was a tough loss. Tennessee, man, the way they played, final 10 minutes of that game was incredible. And Jamal Shedd, man, for him to go down. I had Duke plus 4.5. I don't know how you guys feel about this. If Shedd doesn't go down, Duke doesn't win that game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I agree 100%. Shedd. Yeah,
I think Illinois has got a shot at UConn tonight, Dunaway. So this thing might not be over.
You can play all those games. Don't do it, Dunaway. You play all those games, by the way, at MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on there at MyBookie.ag. You use code next round. You get that sign-on bonus. Win once with it. It is yours and yours forever there at MyBookie.ag. Code next round. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. Let's look at the lines real quick for the 2 games tonight. The game we were just talking about, UConn, an 8.5-point favorite. Lance thinks Illinois has a chance. Dunaway is trying to reverse landmine this thing. He says UConn wins going away. Bama still holding as a 3.5-point favorite over Clemson. We'll talk about that in 1 second. Jim is outside crypto.com arena. Lance got about 5 or 6 more minutes before Avondale shuts down there. So we're going to make the most of that. But a reminder, the Autograph app as well. Download that. It's free. Enter your email. Choose your favorite teams. They curate all the information for you. Deliver it in one place there in the Autograph app. Please use code TNR. You can get the MyBookie QR code there, the Autograph QR code on the other side. Code TNR for Autograph. Let's start with you, Lance. Bama 3.5. You've got that game up at lanceslog.com as well. So if people are inclined, they can join and see exactly what your thoughts are on who wins the game. But let's just ask it this way. If Alabama wins, they win at how?
The problem now is Dunaway can chime in a little bit more on this, but Nick Pringle, how healthy is this guy?
I'll walk you through real quick then. Yesterday at practice, he was in a boot, a protective boot, not because he's out, but they were trying. It's a heel bruise, I'm told, and they're trying to give him a day of rehab and lessening the continued press of every step or anything. Did not, from what I'm told, participate in the practice. He did mentally, but kept the boot on, and during the practice, not even bruised it even more. And they're going to treat it. They were treating it overnight. They're going to treat it pregame, and he's going to, quote, give it a go on the court. But you saw at the end of North Carolina game, LT, he was out there playing basically on one leg, which helped them a lot. And the other side is Latrell Wrightsell, who I think could be Alabama's best defender, though Ryland Griffin has been really good in the last 2 wins, especially the other night on R.J. Davis, who Alabama forced into being horrible from 3-point. Wrightsell is a no-go, according to those close to the team and including his parents, who say that if Alabama wins and they come back to Alabama, he'll be reevaluated with that concussion and may be available for the Final Four, but not until they get ready for the Final Four. So that is what sourcing tells us out here in Phoenix on the injury report.
Well, with that said, the big for Clemson, PJ Hall kid, 6'10", he had, it is PJ Hall, right?
It is, yeah.
This is what happens, vodka lemonades in the sun. But that kid was incredible back in November or December in Coleman. One of Alabama's only 2 losses at home this year. But, Nate Oates said after that game, our guards aren't physical enough right now to hang Clemson's guards. And so you look at Joseph Girard, you look at those are the guys you can. And I don't know, maybe Grant Nelson in this zone. That's what Alabama fans expected from him. And by the way, I didn't realize, you know where he's from?
Grant Nelson?
Yeah.
Where?
Devils Lake, North Dakota. That's where I was sending Dunaway. You guys sent me. I swear that was where I was sending you.
No way.
Yeah. It's one of the most miserable places in America that time of year.
He's from there? Oh, if I interview him again,
tell him. Ask him how bad it would have been in February for you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you, I can't do it if they lose. It won't be that kind of a locker room. But if they win, I will absolutely ask him that question. Better to be in Phoenix for the Final Four in Devils Lake, North Dakota in January.
Hey, I'll tell you this, though, man. And he had an awful game against Clemson earlier this year in that loss in Coleman. But that kid, the way he can put it on the floor, how athletic he is, some of the reverses he was doing the other night against North Carolina, like if he comes out and plays with that confidence for 40 minutes, people expected him to be Dalton Connect. That's what Alabama fans expected. He played like it the other night. So the last couple of games, he has been legit. Can he continue that? That's going to be the difference. And Alabama loves to get up and down the court. Clemson likes to slow it down. They like to rely on that defense a little bit. So I think it's there's a reason Alabama's favored here, but I just can't believe the way these two teams ended their season. Clemson losing 3 of their last 4 and Alabama losing 4 of their last 6. This shows you get hot at the right time. You get the right draws. You can move on. But both of these teams playing for a spot in the Final Four, the first ever in either team's history, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it really is. And that's why you mentioned Clemson's pace, LT. I know you got to go here in 1 second. Clemson's pace, the Alabama-North Carolina game was the highest total on the board, and the total tonight about 10 points less than what Bama North Carolina went off. So they're expecting a lower scoring game here tonight. So that we'll see if that plays out. All right, LT. I know you're going to bail out. We'll see you Monday. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, good to be back with you guys. Enjoy the game. Maybe I'll jump on post game.
All right, we'll try to see you there. Thank you, brother.
All right.
See you soon. All right, so there goes Lance Taylor as he is downtown Dunaway, and they were about to shut it down there. So you're seeing there, we've got the Pineapple Express, but it looks like the Pineapple Express brought a little sunshine right now.
I know. It just broke all of a sudden, Brad. Let me give you a look around here. There's the stadium. We're in the ESPN Peacock Theater Center around here. As you can tell, not a lot of fans yet, but it will build up a little bit. But it's not going to be a great ticket. The 2 big ticket holders lost. So the tickets are, I talked to 2 guys who are on row 15, Brown, behind the Alabama bench, primo tickets. They paid $80. Hey, we're live on the air back in Alabama. What do you think of our chances today?
Pretty good. Hopefully we pulled out.
Pretty good. Yeah. What about you?
Yes, outside.
Yeah. Are you guys from, where are you from?
So we live in San Diego, but I graduated from Alabama.
Okay, San Diego graduated from Alabama, and you just fell in love with an Alabama guy?
Yeah, I went to school in Arkansas, but here's
all right. Well, thank you very much.
Was that the old school Bill Curry sweater she's wearing, Dunaway?
Yeah, it was. Yep, Parisians, 1988. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's 2 Alabama fans. So if we talk to 288 more of them, we'll get everybody before pregame. No, there will be more here tonight. But as I was saying, row 15 behind the Alabama bench, and in the arena, the higher seated teams were behind the team benches the other night, and then Clemson and Alabama fans were on the opposite side. And because both lower side teams won, their tickets got rearranged and moved over to, Alabama will be sitting where the Arizona fans were the other night. And so they will be on the other side behind the bench, but 15 rows up, $80. $80.
That's crazy, and I just don't imagine. LA is such a pro town. I just don't imagine you're going to get a lot of locals that are like, "Hey, let's go watch Alabama Clemson tonight." You know, the Dodgers, the Lakers are obviously on the road. Just such a pro town. I just don't know that the pro. You know, if this game were in Omaha, Nebraska, or Charlotte, North Carolina, where there's a huge college basketball fandom, they might fill it up. But I don't know about right now.
Yeah, and factor in that, you know, I don't know how they get so crazy about rain out here, but with the storm warnings, and it could get as much as 5 inches of rain before I fly out tomorrow, I would imagine a lot of people are staying in. Even the Uber drivers have been talking about the rain that's coming in, and I was like, it's just rain. Can I tell you one more before we get back to what we're doing here? Just one more thing about LA that I've learned here. I'm going to try to show it to you, and then I'll tell you a story about it. But can you see the graffiti that is on those buildings? Those three skyscrapers right here next to Staples?
I really can't. How high up is it?
You really can't?
No.
It goes all the way to the top. There is graffiti on the outside of it all. And they built this right across from crypto. And it was a Japanese investment firm, and they lost $3 billion in the investment. So they're bankrupt and it's out of business. And these people in town just started going up, and it's amazing that every floor has these amazing pieces of artwork on it. But the city is gonna, instead of trying to sell it, they're just gonna tear them down. They're gonna implode them and put something else there eventually.
God, those are huge. Those huge buildings are just gonna implode them and give up on it.
And right next to crypto, like if I'm the Lakers, I'm worried about them following right here on crypto. I mean, we're going to put up a net. What are we going to do? But how do you lose $3 billion? You know, it's insane.
That is so bizarre. I keep glancing to my right. That's where one of my wall of TVs are in the room. PBS, and I did not know they were doing this. You had dinner with Chris last night. They just did a big piece on Chris Stewart.
Oh, so it did air. It was supposed to air at halftime. So it aired pregame?
Yeah. And with Ernie, Clark Kellogg, Jay Wright, Kenny, and Charles. Now they're talking about the game now, but a piece aired with Chris. So I'm gonna have to go back on my DVR and watch this. But it's chronicling Chris's battle. You know, where Chris almost died. We've talked about it with Chris on the show before. But Chris almost died with his brain issue. And, a lot of photos with him in the hospital, Nate Oates coming to visit him in the hospital. I did not know they were doing that. So I guess he talked about it at dinner, huh?
Not only that, I've seen them, you know, I hate to break the third wall or whatever, but a lot of those shots were staged. And so I was around him a couple of times when they were staging those shots, like him, you know, at practice, the shoot around. He doesn't always go to shoot around and usually works on an iPad, but he was writing notes with paper. He said he had to pull up the paper. And then the other night after the win, they were shooting some stuff at the desk. And in passing, wanted a picture taken with him because they switched the floor over from Sweet 16 to Elite 8 on the baselines really quick.
Right.
I mean, really quick. When we were done with our post-game show, they had already switched it over. And passing says, hey, would you take a picture of Chris and I standing on the Elite 8? And get the Elite 8 in the shot. I said, absolutely. Well, CBS is shooting all this, right? And the camera guy goes, that's fantastic. Can we get one with just Chris?
That's really good.
They got me and Pasek out of the way, and they had Chris stand on the Elite 8, just sort of doing a pose on top of the Elite 8. Yeah. So they've been shooting that, and he knew it was coming. But last night when we were at dinner, he was telling me it was likely going to be halftime of the first game if it aired, because they kept telling him if. And so I'm glad it aired. So it's an amazing story, and he's a wonderful dude. And we had a great time. You'd have loved the restaurant again last night. They made me go with them, Brown, because I went with them before the Thursday game, and they won, so they're very superstitious. We went to a place called Dan Tana's last night.
Yep, I've heard of it.
Taylor Hicks was there as well.
Yeah, I saw that photo. What was the connection? Was Taylor just in town? What happened?
Taylor's in town for the basketball game, and or he was in town and decided to come to the basketball game. So he went to Dan Tana's. He goes there a lot. And this is for everyone who used to listen to us on radio and heard back in the day. Taylor describes Dan Tana's as Hollywood's Lavoie's. and I ate there, and it was exactly like Lavoie's back in the day. It was a good meal, and it was a good time. But one of the waiters who had been there forever and ever said that is where the Eagles used to come eat. It's literally right next to the Troubadour, the musical venue there in Hollywood, and the Eagles would come there a lot. And whichever guy wrote Lion Eyes, he wrote it while sitting in one of the booths there at Dan Tana's. So it was fantastic, and we had a very next round moment in my ordering. Chris Stewart went first and ordered the chicken parm, and then when it got around to me, I was like, "Oh, I'll take the chicken parm." And then passing goes, I hear great things about just your spaghetti and meatballs, so I'll take the spaghetti and meatballs. And I was like, and it went on to the other booster guy that was there and Stipe, and passing, I was like, I probably should have got spaghetti and meatballs. And he's like, I know the chicken parm I hear is good. And I was like, I don't really know what chicken parm tastes like. He's like, you should get the spaghetti and meatballs. So I had to switch my order real quick. And he goes,
How was
it? Oh, it was delicious. I cleaned the plate. He's like, do you always order this back? Because you did the same thing the other night. And I said, 100%. 100%. I changed my order the other night, too.
So good. MyBookie.ag bringing you the show. MyBookie.ag code next round. We're about to wrap things up so Dunaway can get inside and watch the UConn Illinois game on TV to see if he's got to shoot 3-pointers or I got to get handcuffed. That's basically going to come down to that one. Tennessee still plays for this.
So really,
yeah.
if Illinois, no, I don't. So if I thought we tied, and it would come down to some point total thing, which I'm always horrible at.
Yeah, all right. I'll tell you what Lunsford said. MyBookie.ag code next round. MyBookie.ag code next round. Also download the Autograph app. If you will download that, enter your email, pick your favorite teams. It just curates all the information that's out there in one spot. Tom Brady is behind this code TNR when you download it. It helps us a ton. If you will please go with code TNR when you download it. All right. So Luntz has been keeping up with this. And so he says, if you give me 1 second, I got to dig through it. All right. So Creighton lost and Houston lost, which hurt us both, right?
Right.
At best, you can tie for last place, but there is the tiebreaker that we've agreed upon.
Roll Tide.
If UConn beats Illinois, you're officially last. So UConn wins. There's nothing that can happen to keep you out of last place.
And how's that not going to happen?
If UConn loses to Illinois and Tennessee beats Purdue, so you need an Illinois-Tennessee daily double. It's going to be tough to come by, but that's what you need.
Hey, man.
Tied, and it comes down to the tiebreaker. Who we got?
We're live on the air. The guy that leads the Crimson Chaos right here.
Yes, sir.
You guys made it out.
Absolutely.
Were you here the other night?
Yes, sir. I've been able to go to – this will be my 4th game of the trip.
Tell everybody your name again.
Jacob Pickle.
Jacob's back with us. Who's this? Alex, we're live on the air back in Alabama now. That's Ryan Brown there.
That's up.
How you feeling about the game?
I feel good. I think this is – I mean, you got the revenge aspect, obviously, with Clemson. It's a good matchup, I think. You look at the game where Clemson beat Alabama. It's like it's – they played well, obviously, but Alabama wasn't who Alabama is today, and certainly not in this tournament. So I think you're set up well, and should be a good night.
All right, go cheer them on, man. Glad to see some more Bama fans out here. See you guys. Yep.
Well, there you go. All right.
More Alabama fans.
More.
Here we go. All right. Hey, here we go.
You've undersold this, Dunaway. You made it sound like they're basically playing in a 1A gym. I mean, this is going to be more than you sold.
We've only talked to 6. We still have a long way to go to get to 300. I mean, we do. We'll have family and friends that will show up soon too. That'll help a little bit. That'll get to like 150.
All right, Alabama's a 3.5 point favorite. Let's finish the show the way you started with Lance. Injury wise, not great for Alabama. You know, Davin Cosby's out, which hurts because Latrell Reitzel is also out. Nick Pringle going to give it a go. Somebody earlier in the chat said it's going to be Nick Pringle's bloody sock game, right? So,
oh my God, I'd love it. I thought, with the minutes he played the other night, correct me if I'm wrong, but when he went back out there in a leg and a half, those were big minutes. Those were big minutes. Massive. He played some big minutes and had the respect of his teammates there for all the doghouse he's been in. They raved about him. Grant Nelson raved about him. Mark Sears raved about him. Nate Oates raved about him. So, Nick Pringle in his post game, even if you've missed it, or maybe you've seen it, go back and watch it again before the game starts. It'll tell you all you need to know about the locker room right now, which I've asked a couple of times, Roundy. I said, were you guys fractured at one point? Because remember on the show we talked that this team is all of a sudden they don't even look like they're having fun playing with each other, and nobody will tell me it was ever fractured. The closest I've gotten is Jaron Stevenson, who told me it just took a while to get where it is now. But they are in a good headspace right now, and I don't know if they're going to win this game or not. They've already made history going to the Elite Eight. It's been a fun run, but you only cut down the nets 3 times in basketball. Tournament championship, where you get the automatic bid. Final Four if you win the national championship. But also remember, if they win here tonight, they'll take home the Crypto.com Arena nets with them. They'll cut down the nets tonight to punch a ticket to the Final Four. So it's that big of a day for Alabama sports history. And, I've said this a couple of times since the win the other night. I've gotten to the point where I just, I've seen so many football championships, and I know that's a first world problem. This is the one I've always wanted for a long, long time now, is a basketball national championship. And the whole national championship thing, we'll see if that happens. Just getting to the Final Four would be so huge for this program, especially right now with Nate Oates and where he is.
Yeah, place they've never been, and it would be massive for this program to take another step forward there, and would solidify what I think everybody thinks about Nate Oates. And they've said the only thing missing here is a deep run in the tournament. Well, it's hard to go much deeper than making the Final Four. So
yeah,
you check that box there, and then the only thing that would be left would be a national championship if they couldn't close the deal. So biggest game in Alabama basketball history tonight. I think a lot of people have accepted that the biggest win in Alabama basketball history was the other night against North Carolina, Thursday night. That makes this the biggest game. The reason I say that, Dunaway, is you remember when they played UConn, I don't think anybody thought Alabama had much of a chance to advance to that game. You're the favorite in this one. You're about to play 40 minutes where you're favored to go to the Final Four. It's the biggest game in Alabama basketball history you're about to go watch.
And you know how tough this tournament is. You don't know if or when you ever get a chance like this again. So you want to take advantage of it. And Brownie, can I just use a comparison from another sport? Remember in 1980 when the Americans beat the Russians? They still had to go out and win that one other game to be gold medal.
Yep.
It feels like it was the Russians that Alabama beat the other night in North Carolina, and now they still have to go out and win this game here today in L.A. So do you believe in miracles or not? That's all I'm asking.
One of my favorite sports stories of all time is the pregame speech the hockey coach Herb Brooks gave before that gold medal game, when the United States obviously had won. They'd beaten Russia. The whole world had stopped, and he walks in the locker room, and they said it was like saloon doors, like those double doors. And he bust them open, and he goes, it was kind of like a half, like 3 sides of a rectangle. And all the players are on the inside of the rectangle. And he walks to one end, turns around, and walks back, and he turns around and he goes, if you lose this game, you will take it to your blanking grave. And then he turns around to walk out. They say he gets to the door, pushes the door open, and turns around and looks at the rest of the team and says, your blanking grave. And then walks out. That's all he ever said. And they said, I remember Mike Ruzioni telling that story, and he's like, after he said that, there was 0 chance for lose that game. I mean, every player in the locker room knew, I take this to my grave if I lose this game.
Oh, and I think a lot of Alabama fans are on edge right now. I bet they're nervous, wanting it because it's so close that you can taste it, and that you're 40 minutes away from going to a Final Four. Pretty darn crazy. We were talking about injuries before the chaos guy came up. Pringle's going to give it a go. We do not expect Wrightsell to play, and then obviously Davin is out. Pretty much the rotation you saw the other night, and hopefully Pringle can go.
Yep. All right, Alabama Clemson coming up. We'll talk about it post game on this same platform. Make sure you've subscribed on YouTube. If you'd give us a thumbs up, we'd greatly appreciate it as well. Set your alerts so you know when we're live, but you can also see us on Facebook. If you'll share us there, that helps a lot. On Twitter, on X, if you can retweet that or re-X it, I guess we would say now, that helps us a lot as well. We appreciate you doing that. MyBookie.ag, code next round. You can play both the games right now. UConn, a pretty big favorite in the Elite Eight. Alabama, a favorite, above 3.5 against Clemson, the Elite Eight. Play all those at MyBookie.ag, code next round when you sign on. Get that sign-on bonus. Win once with it. It is yours and yours forever. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Also download the Autograph app, curating all your favorite teams' content right there in one spot. Tom Brady is behind it, so you know it's quality. Code TNR. All you got to do is enter an email address. It is free to download. Use code TNR when you download the autograph app. That helps us. You see both QR codes on the screen. All right,
Hey,
Jimmy.
can I just say real
Yep.
quick while you were saying that, I got 2 autograph notifications in my screen for $16 tickets at the Detroit Regional, whichever one that is.
That's Tennessee. Yeah.
Tennessee. So two $16 notifications on 2 different pairs of tickets there. And it's not just a ticket app. There's a lot of stories there. So just your email address and the promo code TNR. And don't forget, over on Twitter, and hopefully Taylor is going to share it on some other platforms, or Forrester, we'll have posts going on all night long, team arrivals, some atmosphere stuff. So if you want to feel like you're here, over on our Twitter platform, and maybe some of the other platforms as well. Just everywhere, we've got you covered in LA. And can I say thank you to everyone who made it possible for me to be here. I appreciate all you guys for allowing me to come out here and do the work.
At Next Round Live on social media. That's where we get all that content at Next Round Live. Glad the Pineapple Express broke and gave you some sunshine. If you see a seedy couple and they mention Pineapple Express, go the other way.
Okay. All right. All right.
All right. Enjoy the game. We'll see you guys right here after the game. And Dunaway will be in the locker room and join us as well. So, guys, have a great night. Enjoy the Elite Eight.